In fact, more than half of my life have I been enjoying Warcraft 3. So imagine my surprise when Warcraft 3 was unveiled to me a month before it was unveiled to the world, before BlizzCon 2018. Blizzard asked me to co-announce Warcraft Reforged together with them on the big stage. The fact that Warcraft was getting a remaster was not an entirely big surprise, seeing as how StarCraft already had their remaster announced before, but it was still an incredibly exciting development and announcement for me. And in fact a great honor for me to be announced, for as far as I know, the first time in Blizzard history to co-announce with the actual Blizzard Classic team who would be remastering this game. Warcraft Reforged's initial unveiling was pretty good. They used a kind of machinima type of trailer that would end up looking quite good, but quite different from the eventual result. Once we actually got our hands on looking at the game itself closer to the release date, concerns and red flags started to pop up. The graphics weren't everything that they purported to be, not a beautiful remaster to modern standards that would connect World of Warcraft players and find the kind of likability and familiarity in Warcraft graphics. Nor was it a StarCraft 1 style remaster or Age of Empires 2 style.
Sup, you beautiful of people just can't be normal about. At least according to files discovered by a man by the name of Nick Roy, who for almost a decade has made a hobby of scanning the North Korean internet and writing about it on his blog. Right, and to be clear, one of the reasons this is notable is because strict US sanctions actually prohibit American companies from doing business with North Korea. And so in addition to the other reasons this is notable,
I want to know what the time area, because didn't you say we have to go back first before we...
What do you do with that information? Are you gonna crack some code?
Do you want to go back, like, do you want to start thousands of years, or do you want to start?
I need to.
Do you want to
Well, I
start
mean,
with what?
0 is thousands of years. It's 2000, right? I mean, that is thousands of years.
I think is the most relevant to this conversation, which is
So maybe all that doesn't even matter, because about what's happening.
1948. What?
Oh, kill me. I don't. Why am I listening to this? Why did you link me this? Because I asked for it.
You're like
I know 1948.
I can say
Okay.
year 1500, the population was about 8% Jewish, 92%.
I need to clarify something right now too, because
Yeah.
I haven't read chat, but I'm sure there's people who've been saying it. I need to clarify something.
Arabs and Muslims aren't the same thing, or would she ever talk to you? Absolutely fucking not. No shot.
Zionist movement.
Stop. What is Zionist?
Okay. Okay.
It sounds like something from the
Zionism.
Matrix.
Zionism generally just means that you think that Jews should have their own country. Generally, that's like the broadest explanation. Let's see what she'll say. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Okay.
Is it from the Matrix?
No, it's not from the Matrix. All right. So Zionism is a movement that was created to establish a Jewish state in Palestine through.
Not. I mean, it. Okay. Not really, but okay.
To establish a Jewish state in Palestine through the means of displacement and dispossession of the indigenous Palestinians who lived there.
Okay, so we have like the most loaded negative possible framing of what Zionism is. Good start. Okay, that's good. So this also is enough moral justification then to hate every Zionist, which is basically kind of like 90% of Jews, probably. Like 70 to 90% of Jews is good. So that's good. Good foundation. Not anti-Semitic though, but okay, good foundation.
That is how the nation of Israel was founded in 1948 after they took 78% of historic Palestinian lands and
Historic Ottoman Empire lands or land that was run by the Brits. This is so... Why am I listening to this?
displaced over 750,000 Palestinians.
Okay,
So
this is
Zionism
a
is a
plan.
movement. This was the plan, yes.
Who came up
Oh,
with
this was the plan all along. Okay, yeah. How many people were listening to this dog shit stream? Oh my fucking god, kill me.
this?
Theodor Herzl was the father of modern Zionism.
Is he... is
He's dead. So the first Zionist Congress was established in 1897, but these plans came to fruition. Like the first big part of the plan was carried out in 1948.
Not in the 1880s during the first Aliyah, not in the 1900s and the second Aliyah, not when the Yeshuv was there, not when they were actually buying the land. It was just in 48, it just like appeared. That's when everything happened, just in 48.
Big part of the plan was carried out in 1948. I know, I'm trying to keep it simple here.
I like how she says that like she has so much more background information on this, and she's just trying to make it understandable to like the normie. She's just trying her best to like, I'm just trying to keep it simple for you, dude, okay?
I need to make something clear, and this is, I know you will say as well. We need to understand the difference between Zionism and Judaism.
One second.
Oh, yeah, let's go, yeah.
Melania, can I have a Coke? Zero? Coke Zero?
What?
Melania, can you have a Coke Zero?
Thank you. I'm
Okay.
listening. Listen,
Because-
I'm listening, but
Did they lie in the wiki article? Did they lie about what in the wiki article? Zionism movement that emerged in Europe in the 19th century was to enable the establishment of a homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine, a region roughly corresponding when Zionism first, that's where they settled on, but it didn't have to be in Palestine initially. Pretty sure they were considering other places before Palestine is the one that they finally settled on. A region roughly corresponding to the land of Israel in Jewish tradition. Following the establishment of the modern state of Israel, Zionism became an ideology for support, or that supports development and protection of the state of Israel. Zionism initially emerged in Central and Eastern Europe as a national revival movement in the late 19th century, both in reaction to newer waves of anti-Semitism as a consequence of Haskalah, or Jewish enlightenment. Throughout the first decade of the Zionist movement, some Zionist figures, including Herzl, supported a Jewish state in places outside Palestine, such as Uganda, actually parts of British East Africa today, and Kenya, Argentina, Cyprus, Mesopotamia, Mozambique, and the Sinai Peninsula. Yeah. I think they were considering like several places before. It wasn't just started just to go to Palestine initially. Like there was a lot of debate initially over like where it was going to be. If that's right, like, I guess it's close enough.
I have to be kind of silly because it's funny.
I know, but we cannot conflate Jews with Zionists, because Zionism is a very dangerous nationalist movement.
Dangerous nationalist movement. What is Palestine? What are Palestinians? Is that not a nationalist movement? Maybe that one's not dangerous, I guess.
Jews with Zionists, because Zionists.
Also, how many Jews? Well, let's see. Actually, let's check. Polling data, USA. How many Jews support? What would we even look for? Existence of Israel? Have lived in Israel, have been there more than once. Of all the Jewish people, 41% are not at all attached to Israel. I wonder if that means they'd be okay with the state being destroyed. But 58% are very or somewhat attached. Eight in 10 U.S. Jews say caring about Israel is an important or essential part of what being Jewish means to them. 8 in 10. Important but not essential, and then essential. Jeez. So that's like, what, 82%? So I guess most Jews are Zionists in her.
Zionism is a very dangerous nationalist movement. It's white supremacy.
Right. It's like
White supremacy. What? Remember when I said about for this conflict, it's nice because you can read like whatever the fuck you want into the conflict, basically.
A dangerous nationalist movement. It's white supremacy.
Right. It's like
Judaism
Germans
is not.
and you know what else?
Do you remember learning about Manifest Destiny in school?
Never heard. Wait, is that like the American Dream?
Close. It was when we were like, you know what God wants? God wants us to have a nation that stretches from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast.
Well, that sounds like a
That's
good
our
plan.
land because God wants us to have. That is the same kind of divine delusion that the Zionists are operating under.
Yes,
God
and they-
wants us to have a nation that stretches from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast.
Well, that sounds like a
That's
good
our
plan.
land.
Isn't that literally what the Palestinians say, though, when they say, like, from river to sea? Isn't that the manifest destiny? But
Because God wants to have. That is the same kind of divine delusion that the Zionists are operating through.
Yes,
God will.
and they co-opt aspects of Judaism.
Also, by divine delusion, remember that you absolutely cannot dig underneath any of that Temple Mount, because the entire Arab world, or the entire Muslim world, would lose its fucking mind if you would actually discover any Jewish artifacts there, because for a lot of them, they believe that Jews were never in that place at all. And the fact that there might be evidence that a first temple or something existed beneath that would, like, destroy the collective Muslim mind. But, okay.
Judaism in order to conflate Judaism with Zionism and say that all Jews are Zionists, which means all Jews believe in an ethno-state, stay with me, which means that Judaism is the only ethnicity, religion, you name it, in the nation of Israel.
What about the 2 million Arabs living there? Is that we're not gonna...
People are asking, do you realize that, like, Israel wasn't founded until 1948? Israel did not, as a nation...
Wasn't that in the Bible? Wasn't that in the Bible, though?
He did say 1948.
No, isn't that like an old school city? Like, or
No,
old school...
Jerusalem? Are you referring? Jerusalem has been what
Wait, what am I thinking
religiously has been a battle over the right.
So you're saying Israel did not exist
Yes.
until 1948?
Yes.
That word wasn't real before
There
that?
was no nation of Israel.
What was Israel? Is it like
What were the Israelites? What was that referring to? Why were the Jews there in 0 CE, BC, CE, BCE? What were they doing there at all?
It was
was
Palestine
it just an idea back then? For real?
for the right.
So you're
to
saying Israel did not exist
Yes.
until 1948?
Yes.
That word wasn't real before
There
that?
was no nation of Israel.
What was Israel? Is it like
Israel
was
was Palestine.
it just an idea back then?
Israel was. Israel. Okay. Yes, he's thinking about. He's thinking about
What's the word?
Jerusalem.
I don't know if this is offensive.
Jerusalem, which has always existed.
But in the Bible, isn't there a world called like Israelites?
Uh-oh. Well, Israelites, well, that's like Pedialyte, okay? That was just their diet back then. Uh-oh. How do we explain this one?
Israelites? Is that a term in the Bible?
Is it in relation to the kingdom of Israel? Is that, I think that's
What is it?
in the Bible, but I could be very off.
Didn't you just learn this shit in Wiki like 2 months ago? I didn't know anything about the history that much of this region before October 7th. But I'm not on stream educating people about it. I'm sitting here reading and learning. What do you mean, you fucking retard? What's the comparison? Like, I don't understand the comparison in your mind. Like, imagine if somebody's like, hey, Destiny, can you explain precisely the technology of how, like, monitors work? And I go, no, I don't really know how they work. And then I watch somebody explaining it incorrectly, and then I make fun of them. And I'm like, why are you explaining all this shit incorrectly, this guy? And, like, you come up to me and it's like, well, don't you not know how monitors work? No, I don't, but I'm not making fun of somebody for not having the knowledge. I'm making fun of somebody for pretending they do and then educating tens of thousands of others on it. What?
I'm trying to like, I guess the clarification.
And then she's lying here, which is like, I'm just trying to make this simple for you. I'm trying not to get too bogged down. I'm trying not to get in the weeds. I'm trying to make things too complicated.
Israel? Is that,
What is it?
In the Bible, but I could be very off there.
I'm trying to like, I guess the clarification is Israel existing as like an
Like
actual
an
state,
official,
as a
recognized country by the United Nations?
Yes, and it was.
Okay, for 1948?
I'm sorry, my knowledge of the Bible is chat. Israel and the Bible is different.
I actually know a little bit about the Bible.
Okay. Well,
My mom taught me about it.
John 3:16.
That's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
In all honesty, the Bible doesn't even matter here.
It never did.
Because what we're talking about like